Has Lu Guang lived through these deaths dozens of times? Could things get even worse? And will he be able to evade the death of his friends in Season 3, Part 1? If you still haven't caught up to Link Click, please do before watching this video because I will be talking about things in either chronological order or paraphrasing events that are shrouded in mystery to first-time viewers. I love how this anime consistently churns questions in my mind or assembles together the timeline of events. Every time I think I've figured it out, there's a new mystery added or something that I forgot about that happened episodes ago is finally being addressed, which leads me to question every single little thing. And how often am I being lied to? What is gaslighting? In this fandom, everyone always jokes about being gaslit by Link Click, and I thought, heck, why not tie in actual gaslighting techniques or some logical fallacies while talking about the various time travel events in this show. Gaslighting comes from the 1938 stage play Gaslit, in which a husband attempts to drive his wife crazy by dimming the lights, which were powered by gas in their home. Later, he denies that the lights changed when his wife points it out. Jack won't tell her where he is going, often disappearing in the middle of the night, adding to her anxiety. He convinces her that she's going insane and is imagining things. It's only when a detective crosses paths with Bella, the wife, and informs her about her husband's possible connection to the death of a wealthy woman that she begins to realize that she really isn't imagining things. He is trying to torment her, convince her that she's going insane so that he can easily steal from her. You're crazy, that never happened. Are you sure? You tend to have a bad memory. It's all in your head. You're seeing things. There are 5 popular techniques to gaslighting: withholding, countering, blocking, or diverting, trivializing, and denial. The gaslight techniques in terms of storytelling that are being used are withholding, red herring aka misdirection, and the unreliable narrator. So I'll be referencing those logical fallacies instead of, let's be real, you are not being gaslit by this anime. There is no war in Ba Sing Se. The rules of time travel established by Lu Guang are as such. First, you get 12 hours, mainly due to Lu Guang's ability. Second, you follow Lu Guang's lead and change nothing. 3, past and the future must remain untouched. Major nodes must not be changed, such as fixed death or major events. Minor changes altered in the timeline will correct itself as long as the main node is unchanged. In episode 1, without wasting time, the show thrusts you into a scene where Cheng Xiaoshi and Lu Guang are approached by their landlady, Chao Ling, with a new client request to retrieve some financial data reports before the quarter ends. By using a photo of Emma, the CFO's assistant, Cheng Xiaoshi is able to possess her for 12 hours while Lu Guang guides him along to avoid any hiccups in the timeline. During this possession stage, Cheng Xiaoshi is not only in Emma's body, but he also experiences her day-to-day life, the good, the mundane, and the bad. He experiences her emotions and her memories as his for the duration of his stay. He is Emma during this time, which makes him emotionally attached to the events she experiences because he's also experiencing it. Her emotions are flooding him. Even when he takes a nap, he can experience her dreams, which is why he finds himself unable to ignore Lu Guang's warning of it's better not to see when Emma receives a text message late at night from her parents. This moment here is something that you, the audience, despite being thrown into the show without being spoon-fed information, are able to immediately pick up as an event that might cause a ripple effect in the timeline. Some sort of butterfly effect, right? Did this guy fuck up by texting Emma's parents? No way, right? At that moment, I thought Cheng Xiaoshi did Emma a favor by being transparent to her family about missing them mutually. It was a much needed push that Emma needed to be able to reconnect with her family and find some happiness in the gloom of her life. So when Cheng Xiaoshi leaves her body and she finds some food left by her mother and the apartment tidy, she immediately rushes to meet them, and I felt so happy. It could be because I saw her life as somewhat suffocating and not something I could bear, living, like having that job without quitting. It could be because I also worked a corporate job once upon a time, so I wanted better for Emma. Go, Emma! Catch up to your parents. And bam, just like that, there's a ripple in time. Or is it? Maybe it's supposed to happen. But for now, let's pretend, with all the information out of the current seasons, that this is a butterfly effect of the text. Unfortunately, Emma runs into someone she thinks she can trust, but he is an insidious man who takes the choice of life from her. The episode ends with a chilling news report that Lu Guang keeps Chung Shou in the dark about, which is Emma's demise.
A female corpse was found in the river last night. According to the police, the deceased was employed in the financial department of Chiada Games before her death. Given the company's recent disgrace, suicide has not been ruled out. We'll continue our coverage shortly.
Yeah, coming.
Episodes 6 and 7 cover the story of a police captain, Xiao Li, and a parent approaching the photo studio for their help in finding a missing child who went missing sometime in 2019 during the Brighton arc. During this time in 2019, Lu Guang and Chung Shou are supposed to be overseas. With that in mind, here's a quick reminder of the events of this arc. Episode 6 starts off frantically. Owners of a small boba shop are desperately trying to keep up with the large line and multiple orders during their rush hour. Adding to the stress of the situation is their child, Dodo, who keeps trying to grab their attention. The boy is simply bored and unsure how to entertain the child. The father hands him his phone to watch his favorite animated series. This calms the situation with the child while the parents try to get back on the grind, but quickly, after some time, they realize Dodo is missing. Not a single soul knows where the boy has gone. In the present, they use video surveillance for the dive. Chung Shou appears as himself. He loses track of the boy and the woman for a split second and rushes around anxiously to catch up. When he is close enough, his luck runs out as he is face to face with Shunshun and Chao Ling, who is confused as to why Xiaoshi is back in their town. In 2019, he was supposed to be in Brighton. The first run was unsuccessful after Xiaoshi isn't able to catch up to Aunt May and completely loses the trail. While investigating other possible leads, they asked Dodo's father for photos that were possibly taken on that day and end up coming across a figurine photo that Dodo himself took. The photo/phone is given to the men, and using this, Chung Shou possesses Dodo. He ends up getting drugged by Aunt May, the child trafficker who is apparently actually based off a real case in China. But anyway, Chung Shou, who is drowsy, ends up being led away by Aunt May without being able to reach out for help. He ends up passing Chao Ling, who looks like she's about to approach the two when she gets distracted by someone. Someone you and I know. Anyway, Xiaoshi's 12 hours aren't up yet, and he wakes up in a hotel bedroom, gathering information to pass on to Lu Guang as quickly as he can, quietly trying to unzip a wallet to grab identification for Aunt May. The case has a happy ending, with the child being reunited with his parents in 2021. I don't know why, but I really do think that Aunt May should have given him back immediately, but that would have been probably a ripple in the timeline, so okay. This episode quickly redirects the attention to Emma's case as Lu Guang desperately tries to prevent Chung Shou from involving himself or becoming aware of her death, which spoiler backfires, right? Expect the unexpected, as the last 2 episodes of this series quickly start answering questions about what went wrong with Emma and Liu Min's interactions. After Liu Min is captured in the photo studio after the coordinated time travel message trap, it was such a well executed scene. It was so good. It is also the first time we see someone from the future using the past to send a message to the past and set things in motion so that they can play this little game of, well, sending messages to the future to time travel back to the past. It's a whole thing. This might not seem like a big deal, but it did make me question Li Tianchen and his actions a lot, and how much of his work is being done in season 2 due to Jian and his weird requests, or are they done after the end of season 2 when he leaves with Liu Xiao? He works for both, so is he worried about the witnesses for Jian or is it for Liu Xiao? So Anyway, we can't be too sure. Also, I like to overthink these types of things, so, you never know when it comes to this anime. You can never overthink too much, Xiaoling gets possessed by Red Eyes and stabs Lu Guang when Xiaoshi dives back, and he is petrified, not only because Emma wanted to live and he reached out his hand to her before she turned around and got possessed by Red Eyes and jumped off only to regain her consciousness seconds before slamming against the ground. A cruel death, honestly. Very, very devious of Red Eyes. Red Eyes is ridiculously fast at transitioning from Emma to Xiaoling. It's a bit suspicious to me, but what do I know? That's why I'm like, are these possessions happening back to back, or are they happening at completely different times? But anyway, I know nothing because this series likes to hold back a lot of information and slowly reveals it to us as it unfolds. Sometimes we're learning things with Xiaoshi, either him or Xiaoling. But Lu Guang, if you go back and watch season 2 in particular, he reacts to things very much intensely, but the panel or the next shot is very different, and it quickly shifts to the next scene, and his demeanor changes and he seems more nonchalant a minute or so later. So, and the story keeps going, so, you don't get a chance to process like, hey, why did he react that way? But, that's just an observation I had. Fallacies. A red herring is a piece of information that misleads or distracts the reader or the character from an important situation or lead or evidence, which results in them mistakenly expecting one outcome over another. We've all done this while watching a show, movie, or even reading a book where you think a character is a bit off, a bit sus. Maybe they're the bad guy, possibly evil. You can't quite tell, but you're on to them. To only find out that they were only on the good side and weren't really a threat at all, and the show just made you think that they were bad. The creator of the media placed extra emphasis on them or used stereotypical evil traits or mannerisms seen in villains to embed that seed of doubt into you, or making an event or object seem way more important and relevant to the plot than it actually is. Like in episodes 3 to 5, where winning the basketball match seemed like it would be like a massive fuck up for the future. I was ripping my hair when they won because what would that mean for this guy's future? But it turns out that the main node was the deadly earthquake taking the lives of hundreds, heck, maybe thousands, but I think in the anime it was hundreds. But that fuck-ass basketball game wasn't that deep for that client character as much as it was made out to be, The show made it seem like it was like changing that, making them win was gonna mess up things and we were gonna get an Emma 2.0 type of situation. Withholding information and red herring can be such an amazing storytelling combo if the team or author utilizing it understands how to format the story. Luckily, in my opinion, the creator of Link Click doesn't overdo it, nor does he reuse the same trick in the same format. Once a question or a current mystery is answered, we move on to the next. This keeps things fresh, and since this is a time travel show, the possibilities of a time paradox or other timeline issues are endless depending on how things go. So he can always reuse these things, but in a different way. Well, as long as he doesn't overdo it, I think we should be fine. Season 2 is personally my favorite season. Every single episode is filled to the brim with entertainment, mystery, clues, and evoke emotions. From the emotionally gripping intro to the passion in the voice acting in both Mandarin and English, to the gut-wrenching story of terror and domestic violence in the Lee family, to the guilt Shishi carries and the burden of the crime Tianqin shoulders. Whether it is the dysfunctional Lee family or Liu Min's fucking annoying ass parents, or that fuck ass lawyer, what was his name again? Freaking, what was it? Tianjin? Ugh. I was heavily invested, and season 2 was going in a direction that I could never have expected. This family, their pain, the cycle of abuse and pain, the systems that fail them, their neighbors, the man that took them in for his own selfish desires. Like, everything was crazy. Tianjin's story itself is a doozy, not to mention the heartbreaking death of Officer Chen Bin, who I didn't expect to get caught up in these games at all. But let's quickly recap a few details so that we're all refreshed. Firstly, the Lee family. We heavily focus on them in this season in order to slowly uncover and learn about the identity of Red Eyes and what shaped him into this twisted person. The Lee family is all sorts of fucked up. Li Fang is an insecure man who lets idle rumors control every single thought in his peanut-sized brain, often beating his wife, accusing her of cheating on him. But on the day Chung Shou-shi possesses Li Tianxi, things go horribly wrong compared to the normal hellscape that these kids go through. The events of the day start off wholesome with the mom and the kid taking a photo together, right? The mom taking the kid to the doctor. I don't know if he's actually a doctor or what. They win a prize from the crane machine. The neighbor seemed nice. Seemed. Oh my god. Yeah, it was pretty wholesome and harmless for the most part, but things twist and turn once Li Fan notices the Polaroid camera on the dresser. Irrational thoughts cloud this imbecile's judgment, but honestly, he looks like he doesn't have a single functioning brain cell in his stupid fucking head. So no, I will not talk nicely about trash. He beats his wife and the children get caught in the crossfire as well. Chung Shou-shi is helpless and there's not much to do. Something in this moment of stress triggers Li Tianxin's powers and he possesses his mother to fight against his dad. In this altercation, the two end up killing each other. The boy returns back to his body and Chung Shou-shi is transported back to the present at the hospital with Lu Guang. I also want to express how fucking insane Tianjin's somewhat predictable but damn it pisses me off plot twist was. Like, his wife got murdered, right? And she was pregnant and he seems distraught. You know, he tries to get revenge for his wife, but the justice system fails him. And a few months later, the killer commits suicide, you know, and he used to be a cop back then. He was distraught. He ends up leaving the case and he finds these two kids. But you know, episode 11 reveals how it was Tianjin who murdered his wife out of jealousy. And he suspected her of cheating on him with her theater partner. He tried framing the supposed lover and luckily failed. During his time, he was working the Li family case and he took the kids in and put Li Tianxin's power to work, having this child possess the body of the theater guy his wife worked with and instructed this kid to possess his body and to hang the guy, to make it look like suicide. Some fucked up shit, especially since Tianjin in episode 12 reveals to Tianjin that looking through that guy's memory, he had never seen that guy do anything with Tianjin's wife. She never cheated on him and he was no different than his father probably, an insecure parasite who instead of divorcing his wife, chose to take her life. God damn. Get your significant other to sign up a prenup or something, man. I'm tired of this shit. Why y'all have to resort to killing your spouses? Oh my god. Blood boiling, rage baiting. As much as it was in season 2, it added to the story a lot. And like I said, I just wasn't expecting it. Anyway, this guy and Li Fang can suck it. The unreliable narrator. Despite rage baiting me this season, it still does an amazing job telling a difficult story that some experience, a horrifying reality that I can't even fathom living. It's also filled with various clues and ties into season 1 so well. I can't fit everything into this segment, but maybe in another link click video, I'll establish a proper timeline and things that caught my interest. But in episode 2, when Chung Shou-shi mentions how Red Eyes killer, who we know is this kid, right? Well, if you've seen Link Click, and if not spoilers, I mean, it's a little too late for that. Anyway, upon hearing this information of him possibly being able to be capable of stealing one's power and making it his own, well, you see this close up of Lu Guang, right? And he looks absolutely petrified. The next panel, we move on to the mystery behind the Red Eye killer and the death of Chen Bian. We move on from this particular point, and so far, I don't feel like we've come across someone with the abilities of stealing some other person's ability. So is it Vane after he like kills Chung Shou-shi? Spoiler. Or is it Liu Xiao? Because it isn't entirely clear if it's, you know, inferring to what we find out in the Brighton arc of like Vane, I forgot his Chinese name, I'm sorry, killing Xiaoshi, or if somebody in this, world where people can have time travel abilities has that particular skill. It's up in the air. I like it being open-ended, but some of you might be like, no, it's the death scene. Hey man, I'm just trying to have fun. Another thing that's a huge mystery is Liu Xiao. I don't understand how he fits into everything. Who exactly is he? Well, I know he's the older brother of Liu Min, but does he have abilities? Have we seen it? Was I just not paying attention? He's like a whole different unique thing. And then there is, I think his English name is Felix, but I think it's Xiafei? I think it's Xiafei. He's a mystery as well, and like I said, so is Vane. I think Vane's name is actually Xiao Weiying. So let's reestablish some rules that Lu Guang made up. First rule, you get 12 hours. We know that this rule is due to Lu Guang's ability to foresee how things turn out. This is his way of preventing a path that ends up in Xiaoshi's death. This isn't a hard set rule. How do I know that? Well, the Brighton arc, Lu Guang is in the past for more than 12 hours, let's be for real. Which leads us to Brighton Arc, which is a prequel that dives into how Cheng Xiaoshi and Lu Guang discover their powers and go to Brighton to find clues and investigate Cheng Weiming, Xiaoshi's dad. And I should correct myself. It is Cheng Xiaoshi who discovers his powers, and I believe Lu Guang at this point doesn't have powers. He inherits them after Cheng Xiaoshi dies. So I think that's how it works. But they come across Bhati, a burnt down language school turned pub. That's their first lead into trying to figure out what happened with Cheng Xiaoshi's dad, and they hope to uncover the truth. They cross paths with Xiafei, a model, and Vane. I have his name still as Vane in my script. His name is Xiao Weiying. I had to Google that real quick. But he's a mysterious model agency owner who is also the main person who kills Cheng Xiaoshi in the future over the fact that he's messed around and changed the timeline a lot. Something like that. It's all up in the air, but sometime in 2022 or 2023. I mean, that's kind of the rough timeline. The timeline from when Lu Guang leaves to travel to the past to the oldest photo he had, of which was when they were playing basketball at the courtyard, is a bit shaky. What we do know is that Lu Guang is there for way more than 12 hours, right? He's constantly trying to sync up canon events, glued to his watch, constantly timing things up. He always has had his watch and timed things since season 1, but now I question how many times he has gone to the past, and if this is his first attempt, is he trying meticulously to get everything to a T, but things just keep changing? Vane was clearly punishing Lu Guang and Cheng Xiaoshi for changing something in the past. Is this Emma death timeline related, or were there more things that they changed in the past? We can't entirely trust the timeline of events, nor Lu Guang's reasoning or explanation of events. He is not a reliable narrator, but that's what makes the series so enticing. It answers your questions, but quickly makes you question whether you're truly grasping what's going on, and if the timeline you think is correct is the correct one or not. We don't know if the season 1 and season 2 and the prequel, which one is the original timeline and which one is the altered. I know that there's like a fan Wikipedia that shows you what the original and the altered timelines are, but I mean, we still have a lot, we still have season 3. Things might change, or our current understanding of the timelines might change. Does Cheng Xiaoshi inherit his abilities from his maternal side, since it seems like his mother is able to possess people? But how did she do that? Oh wait, that's right. Wang Qing takes a photo of him at the therapy session. So she's live because we see the therapist lady take a picture of Cheng Xiaoshi, and then a moment later, she's possessed. So obviously she hands that photo to Cheng Xiaoshi's mother. So why the fuck was Xiafei a student at the language school but not listed as a surviving student? Does Chung Wei-ming have abilities, or was he wrapped up in some political mess? Because trust me guys, I have a feeling that there's definitely going to be some like corruption angle, right? There always is. And sorry to flood you with all these questions, but the list can keep going on and on if we analyze each season out so far. And as of recording this, I think season 3 got moved up from October to August, which is now, and I think the first episode came out, like today's the 15th of me recording, so I think the first episode came out yesterday on the 14th, but anyway, we'll get some answers. We'll figure it out. The second rule, follow Lu Guang's lead and change nothing. This is to ensure Chung Shi doesn't end up turning a corner and dying. And the third rule, past and the future must remain untouched, which Lu Guang is actively messing with in the Brighton arc, especially by killing Vane, which isn't properly visualized, to maintain that hint of mystery. And of course, Xiao Weiying, aka Vane, isn't dead, so does that mean that Lu Guang, by going to the past, truly did cause the future chain of events of Chung Shi being shot by Vane to come to life? Like, was he really at fault? So many things to take into consideration, and so little proper, information on timeline. And then this like added mystery of the language school burning up on fire. All of it just keeps adding to the mystery, and Lu Guang's involvement, how much he knows, how much he doesn't. We don't really know the entire extent of it, so we can't really 100% rely on things from Lu Guang's perspective to fill in the blanks. So before we head into the final section, I usually never ask this, but please consider liking the video and subscribing. Okay, thanks, bye. Back to the timeline that we have so far. In episode 1, April 14th at 200 hours, Emma is possessed by Chung Shi from the future while she's working overtime. Chung Shi, as Emma, sends a text message to her parents saying that she misses them, and Emma gets evidence of the financial fraud happening at that fuck-ass company where she gets slapped by the CFO's wife. Crazy ass scene, very blood boiling, hard to watch, but it had to be done, right, to get their hands on the reports. And as soon as Chung Shi leaves the dive and returns to the present time, Emma goes home, sees the text that Chung Shi sent as her to her parents. Emma goes to the subway to meet her parents, and runs into this fuck-ass guy who offers to give her a ride. In episode 10, Chung Shi dives as himself and hides in Liu Min's trunk, hoping to find a way to pin the serial murders onto him while the cops follow up on him at his house. And on the ride there, Liu Min tries to strangle Emma. Well, he does strangle Emma, but he's unable to like kill her off. And when he hears thuds from the trunk and somebody scream from there, he goes to check out who's in the trunk, and at that same time, Chung Shi leaves the dive. In episode 12, when Liu Min checks the trunk, he finds it empty, and he then rushes Emma, or tries to rush Emma to the hospital, but she wakes up after he had strangled her unconscious, and she's freaking out. There's like a little fight back and forth. He swerves off and hits the side of a building, I think it was that he hit. I can't remember what exactly hit, but he crashes onto something. It results in him getting his legs injured, and at this point, Emma, she, escapes the car. She goes and she grabs her phone as well out of the car, and she starts kind of half-consciously walking along the bridge while Liu Min is still trapped in the seat of his car. Around this time, Chung Shi catches up to her after diving into the surveillance footage and convinces her to give herself another chance, a fresh start, and move on from, whatever is holding her back, and to move forward and not to give up on her life. And he's able to convince her to give herself another chance, reaching out for Chung Shi's hand. Her eyes suddenly glow red, and before you know it, she suddenly turns around and jumps off the bridge, regaining her consciousness, right moments before her demise. And around this time, Xiaoling and Liu Min's eyes glow red as well. Xiaoling attacks Lu Guang, and Liu Min strangles himself at the police station. And of course, we know that this was the work of this little kid, Tianchen, after being recruited by Liu Xiao at the end of season 2. Well, I think that he did it after being recruited by Liu Xiao, but it could be Tianjin who made him do that. But You know, I still have my crazy conspiracies, but anyway, Emma is found dead, then there's a news report, and the rest of season 1 follows, and then season 2 happens, right? So what now? Things might spiral out of control. Since Lu Guang has caused a ripple, I'm not even sure what the original timeline is supposed to be. We can't rely on Lu Guang. We know that the show loves to hold back a lot of information and slowly reveals it, because that's what adds to the mystery, right? And feels fun when it does a little plot twist, can be fun. And it also likes to make you focus on things that are not important, or characters that are not that significant, or are significant, or whatever, you know. It like makes you focus on other things, so you think they're a bigger deal than they actually are, right? So it misdirects you quite a bit. So I'm not really quite sure how season 3 is going to turn out. We have tons of fans theorizing things, and one thing you'll notice about Link Click is that the songs, the opening songs and outro songs, will actually hold a lot of information in them. I forgot to actually mention this when I was talking about the opening of season 2. I love that opening a lot, and what I like while looking up videos on YouTube, I found a live performance of the singer, and he is actually singing the reverse part. I'm going to insert a clip so you have an example. Unless it gets copyright struck and blah and blah, then I'll just link it so you guys can click on it and see it yourself. There's tons of people already trying to, you know, piece together what's going to happen in season 3, because the opening does hold a lot of, not like spoilers because it's not so obvious, but it sometimes clues you in what's going on. And if you like solving puzzles, I think a show like Link Click is a lot of fun. But I've avoided watching trailers for season 3 part 1 because I want to go in blind and have no idea what's going on. And we'll see if Xiao Weiying and Xiao Fei come for revenge. I'm curious to see how this new season utilizes its popular fallacies like red herring, unreliable narrator, and withholding as much information as they can to craft a fun story filled with twists without hopefully overdoing it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Again, I want to express my deep appreciation for season 2 intro song in particular, because it is always gotten an emotional response from me. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on the series, the characters, the timeline, and like I said, I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.